Hi y'all, welcome to the Style Chronicles. I thought I would do a real quick video to let you guys in on a secret that I've been keeping for about 6 weeks now. And Eva is going to be a big sister. So she's really excited. I'm really excited. My husband is super excited. We've been trying to conceive since January of this year. And it's been kind of a difficult process for reasons that are unknown to us. We figured it would be easy to conceive a second child after having our first daughter, and for some odd reason, it really was not. I was roughly about 9 weeks along when I found out I was pregnant at the beginning of September. No, I guess I must have been about 7 weeks along. At the beginning of September when I found out I was pregnant. And it was exciting. It was, even though we were trying to conceive, it was a little unexpected because we'd kind of given up hope. June and July kind of killed it for us. We just kind of sat back and said, well, something's not working. We've done everything we can. You know, we were going to give it another year and then seek out, counseling for, people that are trying to conceive or whatever. In other words, we were, seek out doctors to figure out why we couldn't conceive. And we were doing everything we needed to do. I was doing what's it called? It's a kit that you can buy at the, Walgreens or Walmart or Target or wherever, to figure out when you're, like an ovulation kit, when you're ovulating. So I was doing that because my periods have been irregular since January, which is why we had such a hard time conceiving, just because I would go, the 28 days sometimes, I'd get it monthly, sometimes I would go 40, 45 days. I even skipped, I think, a whole cycle 1 month, so that's why it took us so long to figure out that I was pregnant, because we were waiting, past 28 days, past 40 days, past 45 days for me to get my monthly cycle. And so it was difficult that way, to really know, to pinpoint when I could, when I was ovulating, when I wasn't, and then also to figure out when we were pregnant. And the only reason why I figured it out was because I started to get extremely nauseous. And coffee, which is one of my absolute favorite things to have in the morning, it's usually like a morning ritual with my father. Eva and I go have breakfast with him, and all of a sudden I was like, no, I don't want any coffee. And he's kind of like, that's not like you, because you always like coffee. My dad's a coffee fiend, I'm a coffee fiend. And for about a week there, the smell of coffee was making me nauseous, and I was just like, no, I just don't, I don't feel like it right now. I don't know. And then one particular Friday morning, the Friday that I actually found out that I was pregnant, we went to eat, and I had like twice what I normally would eat, and my dad was just like, you're eating like a lot, you normally don't eat that much, are you pregnant? And I said, no, I'm not, I don't feel like I am, there's no way I can be. And he's like, you've got an appetite. And I said, well, I hadn't eaten a lot the night before. So I figured that my hunger was just, because of that. And obviously it wasn't. And then from there, through the nausea and everything, I would take pregnancy tests, and they were coming out just negative. I mean, I took like 6 of them, and they all said negative. Up until the day that we actually went to the doctor, for, check. I went in because I, knew that there was something going on. I just didn't know that I was pregnant. So we went in, and she did a blood test and everything and confirmed it. And she said, they're not always accurate. Some people take them and they are. Some people take them and they aren't. And it'll tell them that they are. So it just, it depends. It was accurate with my daughter when I took it. But this time around, it was just not registering it at all. So that, and then after that, I was going to just go ahead and start telling everyone, but then I got really sick. I was so sick with nausea, which is something foreign to me because I did not have that with my daughter. She was like the perfect pregnancy. I never had any ailments. There was nothing to complain about. I always felt great with her. This time around, the nausea was unbearable. I mean, it was to the point where I was not functioning. I did not function for about 2 days. I would go to work and everything and drive, but it was that feeling of needing to vomit or throw up that was just incessant. It was all day long, all the time, even when I was asleep. Everything, constantly being in my throat, and then just makes you irritable. It makes you not feel good. And I had my daughter to care for. So talked to my doctor, and she prescribed something that has helped tremendously with that. I don't take it every day. I don't take it unless I feel like I need to take it, because there is a point. There's a point where you're nauseous and you can deal with it, and then there's a point where you literally walk around feeling like you need to vomit every second of the day. And once I reach that point, that's when I take something for it, and it relieves it a lot. Other than that, for the past 2 weeks, since I did start taking something for the nausea, we've been great until last Friday, when I started to feel extremely faint and just really, really weird. My heart would start racing and all kinds of stuff, and I was very short on my breath. So we went back to the doctor for another checkup, and she said that I had very low blood pressure, which I had low blood pressure to begin with because I'm a runner, and I run every day, so it keeps my blood pressure pretty regulated. I eat very, very healthy, so I've never had an issue with blood pressure. My dad has always had very low blood pressure too, because he was a runner for a long time. And it's just now that he put on some weight, he's a little older, that his blood pressure has gone a little higher. But I had low blood pressure to begin with, and then when you're pregnant, you have low blood pressure, or you're supposed to have low blood pressure anyway. So that on top of an already low blood pressure makes it really, really low, which is fine as long as you don't have any heart, pains or chest pains or anything. She just told me to watch out for that. And I did need to start drinking extra water, because water increases your blood volume, which increases your blood pressure, and also to put some salt on my food. And salt is something that I cannot stand. I do not salt anything. I never ever go for salt at a restaurant. I don't like to add salt to foods that I cook or anything like that. My husband is like the salt king. He puts salt on everything. And when he cooks, I can taste even, a teaspoon of salt when he puts it on the food. It just, something about salt triggers something in my tongue that's just like I'm super sensitive to it or something. But salt increases your blood pressure, which is why they tell high blood pressure patients to lay off the salt. So in my case, she wants me to add salt to my foods, which I have started doing, and I literally choke down whatever I am eating and washing it with whatever I'm having to drink, because the salt just irritates me so badly. But it helps a lot. I feel a lot better once I do have some salt, which is just crazy. But that's about it so far. Everything else has been, wonderful. The back pain has set in already. We are roughly about 12 weeks along, so we're almost at the end of our first trimester. And like I said, I would have shared it with you guys earlier had I been feeling good. I have not felt good until now. And it was just so, I know everybody says every pregnancy is different. This one, however, is just so completely different from my daughter's that I did not expect it at all. Eva was just wonderful, literally wonderful. I had no complaints until the very end. When it was time for her to come out, she stayed too long, did not want to come out. My body never did what it was supposed to do, so she was a C-section. And other than that, everything else went perfect. And even though, it was a C-section, that was perfect too. I actually didn't, I don't have any complaints about having a C-section. Actually, I had a really good experience with it. And my scar is almost non-existent, which I praise my doctor for, but she told me the other day that she has absolutely nothing to do with it, that it is the patient and how they scar that determines what the scar looks like. But this next baby will be a C-section also. So our due date is May 9th, but that will change because of the C-section. So anyhow, right in between 12 weeks, I will be 13 weeks on Monday. And if you guys want me to, I'll start doing some pregnancy vlogs. I'm still going to stay on top of my my fashion videos and beauty videos, because that is what I like to do. And my style doesn't change any. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I didn't buy any maternity clothes. I wore my same jeans throughout my pregnancy. I wore all my same slacks throughout my pregnancy. The only things that I did buy were longer shirts than normal, and larger shorts than larger shirts than normal. But everything else was my own stuff. I have started wearing the Bella Band because I've only gained 4 pounds, but that 4 pounds is not allowing me to close my pants anymore. So I am doing the hair band trick and putting the Bella Band over it, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. The only thing that has increased is my bust size, which you can probably tell. This is the Bella Band that I am wearing, and I'm still not big. I mean, I'm pretty, flat. You can see it starting to come in a little bit. But those 4 pounds make a lot of difference on my frame. And before I actually found out I was pregnant, I had gained like 3 or 4 pounds. So I guess I'm up about 8 now, which is disappointing to me because it took me like 6 months to put on weight with my daughter. So I think it's a lot of it had to do with the nausea, and then when I wasn't so nauseous anymore, I was starving, so I was eating a lot. But that's the Bella Band that I use to hide my jeans, which are open with this hairband like that. And this is just a regular t-shirt. I have gone up a bust size. All right, baby, put it all back, thank you. I was in between an A and a B. I could work both ways depending on different times of the month. Okay, baby. But I have moved into a C, and I'm actually outgrowing that, so I'm going to need to move into a D pretty soon. Anybody who's pregnant knows that changes very, very rapidly. Anyhow, so that is the news. I'll start my first pregnancy vlog next week when I'm 13 weeks and officially in my second trimester. But that's, for now, not too much to talk about. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.